What's up, people? It's your man ThaBlackCobra back once again, and today I'm talking about this mighty powerhouse, the MTen4. Several people have asked me, can this MTen4 really handle a big guy? Can the MTen4 really stand up to the pressure that we would put on it through different situations? I'm gonna put it in various situations and give you the opportunity to make your decision on whether the MTen4 is the wheel for you. Let's go. Let's go. So here we have it, the MTen4 by Begode. Yes, it's a Begode wheel. Yes, it has some of their intrinsic values, good and bad, and we're gonna talk about all of them today. So first and foremost, let me give a shout out to Duff and his EUC Army site where I got this nice little stand. Thanks Duff for sending this out to me. I was having trouble with the previous stands, putting my master on it. I slapped this one together and it just happens to fit this one as well. You know they're adjustable. So anyway, shouts out to Duff, EUC Army. Thank you for the stand. I appreciate it, brother. So the MTen4, you can see how tiny this thing is. It has that wonderful headlight that I love the look of, and this honestly gives me vibes from Claptrap, the robot companion in Borderlands. It seriously does give me that vibe. I have spent a little bit of time trying to figure out which pad I want on it because I don't like to ride any wheel without pads. So what I've done here is on this one, I put this little pad from EUC guy. Not saying that's the best one, but that's the one that was able to fit the side of the wheel, and it gave me the option and the ability to have some sort of pad so that accelerating and braking could be a little bit easier. Not that it's hard on this tiny wheel, the wheel is so small. Now there are a few things to talk about when it comes to this wheel and a big guy on it. It has really good power for such a small wheel. 1,000 watt motor is impressive on such a small wheel. Now you know that there are many scooters that you could get, but they would have less power and less speed than this, and they're a lot bigger than this. So portability, honestly, to me, is the biggest thing this wheel gives you. Good power, good speed for such small form factor. The portability of that, and matter of fact, I can show you right here. I was out on the trail and I went the wrong way on the trail, and then in order to get back to where I wanted to go, I simply picked up the wheel and walked across. Now, how many wheels can we do that with? And if you look at the terrain that I'm walking on, there's not too many wheels that you want to pick up and then traverse over these rocks. But this little guy is tiny enough that I was able to scoop it up and make my way down the rocks and back to the main trail that I was trying to ride on in the first place. I did ultimately go back to that gravel trail because I wanted you to see how this wheel handles gravel as well. So I'm gonna start with the outwardly appearance of the wheel. Like I said, it looks like Claptrap to me. It has the nice headlight. We have the power button in the front and the power port. What I like is the semi-translucent top where you can see through the wheel. I really love that. that effect. And I love the knobby tire that they put on this wheel. The pedals, I was happy to see that they went to a new pedal, especially seeing as when they came out with the T4, I was very disappointed in that they put the old pedal on that wheel. So I was glad that they came up with a new pedal for this. However, I don't like the squared off stubs that they have on this, or spikes, because they're not really spikes. They're squared off, so they don't really grip your foot like they need to. So you could use a little bit more grip on these. However, on this tiny wheel, you might find yourself trying to find your footing, which is interesting because it's so small. I have a size 12 foot, so trying to find my perfect placement takes a second when you first get on it. So I guess that's good that you can move it around a little bit, but I'm a fan of having your feet put in place by spikes, or by grip tape, or by both. In this case, the spikes could be better, and I would be happier if they were a little bit better. The handle that they give you on top, the luggage handle, although it's enough to carry this 28-pound wheel, it's not really robust, and you do always have the feeling that it may break and the wheel may fall out of your hands. So a lot of times I find myself grabbing the handle and grabbing the wheel underneath just to be sure that the wheel doesn't fall. So it's not the sturdiest or the strongest, and it really does feel like the luggage strap that I've had on many of my pieces of smaller carry-on luggage. So, As far as the body is concerned, I love the look of it. I love that they have a little kickstand in the back, which was a surprise to me. I really didn't think they were gonna go that route, but being able to pop that down as a kickstand is a great feature. Something I really like about this wheel. And the knobby tire, I spoke about the knobby tire because I like the fact that they put a knobby on here because you can ride it on all sorts of terrain. However, there are some drawbacks to that. As you can see here, I'm on a gravel road, and this tire is great for the outside gravel, small gravel road. If you're on, if you go through like deeper gravel, or you go through where there's divots or potholes and things like that, this tire doesn't matter because the wheel itself is so small, the 11-inch diameter, that it doesn't give you the ability to absorb any of those big potholes that you may go through, or those big lumps or bumps you may go over. It becomes very wobbly, very unstable. On a smooth gravel road, it's very good, and the knobby tire helps. And any of the outdoor road surfaces, I'm happy with the knobby tire. However, when I'm inside, I did a little video on Instagram where I was inside Walmart riding around on the M10-4 while shopping. And although it was fantastic under that circumstance, because you can control the M10-4 so easily, just little micro adjustments, and it reads them all. So I was able to go super slow in the store, and a couple people tried to cut in front of me, and I stopped and backed up, and they were like, "Oh wow, didn't think you could stop that easily." The control that you have on this wheel is amazing. However, while I was in Walmart, the floor is a smooth surface like this here, and riding on a really ultra smooth surface with these knobs, I felt every knob on this knobby tire. As you're riding slow, you feel so. After a long period of time, it gets to the point where you wish you had a street tire if you're riding. So if you're riding, one of the best case scenarios for this wheel is using it in a warehouse, or inside your workplace or something like that, where you're trying to get around. If you have a big warehouse, you're trying to get around, this would be wonderful. But in that case, it would be better if you had a street tire on it. But this knobby is great if you're riding outside. When it comes to speed, this thing, it roughly tops out around 25 miles per hour. And of course, I recently watched the video by Sean. What's up, Sean? Shouts out to you. He did a very good video on this also, by the way, so I'd watch his video if I were you, if you're thinking about this as well. And he made a good point. The top speed is roughly around 25, 26 miles per hour because it's a Begode or Gotway, and you don't know. It calibrates or calculates rather the speed, the weight the load that's on it, the surface that it's on, the battery capacity and what you have left. And then if it's overpowering too much, you'll get the beep, 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 and boom, you're going down. So roughly around 25 miles per hour. I know I got it up to around 24 miles per hour, I believe, 23, 24 miles per hour, comfortably. I didn't really feel too intimidated or nervous about it holding me. And that's the key about the big guy review is, can this wheel handle this big guy? Yes, with my 235 pounds riding on this 28-pound wheel with an 11-inch diameter tire, yes, with a 1,000-watt motor, it was able to handle me effectively. I didn't have any issues. Yes, when you're doing certain maneuvers on it, you are gonna feel the tilt back. That was a little unnerving. As you can see here, I'll show you, I was on a pump track. Yes, I took it on a pump track and I wanted to see how it would handle the hills with me on it. And as I started out here, you can see, well, maybe you can't tell here, but it did some dipping. It didn't when I first went around, but later I went around again and I went slower and I really felt the dip. So I was impressed that it was able to handle me, but I did feel the dipping, and because it's such a small wheel, you feel all the micro movements. It also calibrates for all the micro movements, which makes it a good wheel when you're trying to do tiny micro movements. Like here, I'm doing a little obstacle course going between some cones. I also did a circle thing where I was going around and around. First I was going on the outside, then I'm like, let me see if I can go around the inside. And I can tightly turn on this little wheel. And it feels pretty good when you get that tight of a turn. You can almost turn on a dime with this tiny micro monster. So I love that feeling of control that you get over this wheel. I am still working on riding backwards. I figured while I have this, I'm hoping that I'm able to really lock down that backwards riding, and I'm still working on that. It's not very intuitive for me to go backwards, you know, big dude, and I've already fallen really bad and got hurt, so I do think about it a little bit more probably than those that haven't been really injured yet. So I'm working on it a little at a time. I'm hoping that I can get it down a lot better before I have to return this wheel, and we'll see. So I talked about the power, 1,000-watt motor. Talked about the tire, 11-inch diameter. Talked about the fact that it's a knobby, and I like that, but sometimes a street may be better if it's indoors. But what I really want to focus on is two things. Number one, to tell you unequivocally, yes, this wheel can handle a big guy, no problem. Here's another little quick clip. I jumped off a little curb. I jumped over. I was doing little jumps, not big anything. I didn't want to try and snap the axle, but I wanted to see if it could actually hold my weight, really hold my weight. So I was very pleasantly surprised. Let me talk about overall. I really love this wheel. I love what it can do, but I want to be specific, and it's something that Sean said in his video as well. I don't think this wheel, even though it has a low price, it's a small form factor, I don't think it's for new riders. I do not think that this is the wheel for people to learn on. There are quite a few reasons why that is not optimal for this wheel. Number one, it's unstable when trying to mount it. One of the things that we try to teach new riders is putting one leg up against the wheel, balancing on that, pushing off and jumping up on with the other foot. Well, it's hard to do that when this wheel doesn't come up above like your shins, like the bottom of your shins, barely above your ankle, depending on how tall you are. It's hard for you to lean this wheel up. So you kind of have to have decent balance when it comes to EUC riding. And you don't get that decent balance until later on after learning to ride and riding for a while. I don't think this is a wheel for you to try to learn that on. It's very unstable and wobbly if you're not stable on an EUC yourself. And after you've been riding for a long time, you have a lot more ability to adjust for the things that happen on this wheel. When you start going, when you get up to 20, 25 miles per hour, you might get some instability. I did get one segment where, well, more than one segment where I got some wobbles, some pretty significant wobbles. And once I started getting wobbles on this tiny wheel going that fast, it's not a great feeling. If you don't know how to compensate for the wobbles, if you're too nervous because you're too new, you are going to take a fall. So I don't think this is something that you should be doing if you're new. I think that you should get this wheel if you've been riding for a while and you have a specific case for it. You somewhere, like I said, at work, in the warehouse, right around your neighborhood or your grounds, because you're doing grounds work. Those kind of wonderful things, this is the wheel for. I don't think this is the wheel for touring. If you're going out for a long ride and you want to tour around, I don't think this is the one, and I definitely don't think it's the one for beginners. They're not going to be able to adjust for the wobbles. They're not going to be able to adjust for the instability. And when you hit potholes or anything, this tiny wheel cannot absorb any of that. So you're going to get more wobbles. So there's just too many things that I think could cause you to fall on this. And the fact that, yes, it's a 1,000-watt motor, but you can push that 1,000 watts easily if you're heavier and you're out on the wheel and you're doing, you uneven road, potholes or whatever, and you're trying. I think this can cause more injuries if you're not an established rider. That being said, if you are an established rider and you're looking for some fun, this wheel has that in abundance. It has the fun, the form factor that you need to do all kinds of silly things. While we were at the Amped Electric Games, Marty, shouts out to Marty, what's up, brother? He was on his MTen4 buzzing around, and shouts out to Dawn Champion. She got me to ride the MTen4 while I was there and made me think more about riding a small wheel to try and learn to ride backwards, which I'm still working on. And while we were at the Wheel Life Rally, Linda, who owns this one, she was riding her MTen4 around the rally. So when like I said, if you're at an event and you're riding around, these are perfect for that. Those types of events, those types of things make this a perfect wheel to ride around on. Well, that's it. That's all I got for you today. I just wanted to give you the big guy's review on the MTen4 and let you get the information you need to make your decision. If you're interested in grabbing one, please go ahead and hit one of these affiliate links that I'll have down below. You can also go to my website, ThaBlackCobra.com. The links are there. Or to my link tree, also ThaBlackCobra, and grab one of those links there. It gives them the information that you watched this video and it was helpful. It also gives me a couple dollars towards the wheels that I want to purchase, because there are several more that I want to get, and I want to be able to bring my big guy review to you on those wheels. This helps me. So please go ahead and do that. Also hit that like button. Help the algorithm know that other people should be seeing this video. I wanted to give you a heads up. Yup, it's No Shave November right now. So I donated to charity for my job, and they in turn allow us to grow a beard. I don't normally do it, but I figure, why not? This time of year, it always gets me in the mood. I feel jollier having a beard. And yes, we haven't gotten to Thanksgiving yet, but Christmas is right on the horizon. And that's my favorite holiday pretty much. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please drop them down below. I love to engage with anyone watching the videos and try to help you the best I can, give you any information that I have gained in regards to these wonderful wheels that we are riding. Till next time, it's your man Black Cobra. Keep it wheel. Deuces. And I'm out. Woohoo!